Sleeping People podcast. This is Court.
And this is Ashley, and we're coming at you live from Chamonix, France.
Oui, oui.
Scratch that. We're back in Boston.
We're back in Boston, as you can see in the first clip. If you are watching today's episode, we did lug all of this equipment over to Chamonix, France, then over to Milan, Italy, on our layovers, all over the world. This is a traveling podcast, and we can do better for you guys. So that's why we're here.
What a good way of putting it.
It's all for you.
Guys, we tried recording at 6:30 a.m. on like day 4 of a vacation where we did not stop. And if you think I sound tired now, like I think I was literally sleep talking when I was listening to myself at the beginning of the recording, and I was like, oh no, like this better pick it up. And it did, but you just deserve way more energy, especially for a season finale. So we're back in Boston. It's been a week since we got back, and we're ready to give you all of the vacay storytelling and a really good episode to end off season 3 on.
Absolutely. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, how has your week post-vacay been?
It was honestly like the easiest week back from a vacation that I've had ever, I think. And that is because we are just so smart, beautiful, and amazing. And I don't even know if it was strategic, but we came back on a Friday night. So we had Saturday and Sunday to recoup, like not have any scaries before the week, get all the laundry, the groceries, all the things done. And so I've had a relatively chill week in comparison to how it could have been. What about you?
I would not say my week has been chill.
Really?
I've been like at work
every single day.
Yeah. So late, working late. I don't work late. It's just been a lot to catch up on, but the weekend was so helpful to like unpack, and like I started the week refreshed, ready to go. It's just natural that work is gonna slap me in the face when I come back from a week off, but that's okay. It comes with a new promotion, so there we are. It's fine. But it's been good. Honestly, I miss the routine of like sleeping in my own bed and not running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Totally.
So it was good.
Totally.
I also feel like with a big trip like that your serotonin levels or whatever those happy chemicals are just popping off nonstop on vacation.
Yeah.
So then coming back to Boston and to my little routine, my little life over in Boston, I'm like, oh, I definitely had some vacay blues when you go from doing everything. So it's just one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
And I forgot how that feels, because every time I've traveled in the past 3 years, it's been to Miami or something more local and not for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So I forgot what it was like to literally live my best life
and
then come back to regular life.
Yeah, I feel like it's the contrast with the juxtaposition of the two back to back. And I feel like when you're so used to go and then all of a sudden you snap your fingers and you're back into your routine, it doesn't feel like your vacation was even real. It feels like it was a fever dream. Like, did that even happen? Like, I don't quite know.
There have been multiple times where I've had to take myself back like into the moment and be like, wait, no, that actually did happen. Like, remember how cool that was. And I have to like replay it in my head because it doesn't seem real.
No.
That we were doing those things a week ago.
No, not at all.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah. Well, so we're definitely going to give you some insight to the trip because I feel like we were a bit more absent than we thought we were going to, but that's the purpose of vacay. We got to unplug a little bit. We got to enjoy the moment. And guys, when I tell you that we were nonstop for legit 7 days, like that is an understatement.
Yeah.
We flew into Europe on a red eye, and the way that the time zones worked out, we basically got maybe 3-4 hours of sleep to kick off our trip. And then every day after that, we were going nonstop from like 6:30 in the morning to almost 1 a.m. every single day.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was like ski, club, drinks, casino, bus, train, no sleep, repeat. It was like,
it was crazy.
What is happening right now?
Yeah.
So we're going to give you some glimpses into the vacay, and if anyone's ever been interested in the Alps, like, you'll find it valuable. But we more importantly want to talk about how to get your trip out of your group chat. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
How to get the trip out of the group chat.
How to get the trip out of the group chat.
Yes.
And also how to have the best adult vacay.
Yeah, because if you, you've done more traveling than me, so I feel like you've had the adult vacays, but this was my first out of the trip country, like with my significant other, as a working woman outside of college. Like my last big trip was spring break, you know?
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's wild.
Yeah. So, yes, I've adult vacated in Miami and things,
Yeah.
but not anything like the trip that we just had.
Yeah, not taking a week out of work, not like
Right.
funding it yourself. Typically, if I go on a vacation like that, it's with my parents, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
So it is just so different.
Yeah, so we have a lot of tips for you on how to adult vacay.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And then finally, today is the season finale of season 3. So we are leaving you on a note. We're going to be taking a bit of a break between season 3 and season 4, revamping as we always do. But in that break, we're leaving you with some tips on how to go treat yourself. Go take a vacation while we're on vacation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And start planning a vacation for the summer with your friends. And like, hopefully this just makes you pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think it'll be very actionable.
Totally.
And give you that motivation.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, first step, Ashley.
Okay, so we're starting with how to get the trip out of the group chat. Something every single one of you needs to do.
Yes.
So it's always going to start with the idea person. The person that's like, hey guys, let's do a group trip.
Yeah.
I've been looking to go XYZ. I've been looking to ski the Alps. And in our situation, it was Matthew.
Mr. Matthew. We also have like aliases. Like we all, Mr. Joe.
I think that is the sign of a good trip.
I know.
When you come back with
so
your
many
own
inside
language.
jokes and
Yes.
yes, a completely different verbiage than
Yes.
what you
Yeah.
left the country with.
Literally. That's probably one of my favorites.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the little things, you
Yeah.
know, like the quality time and like the funny stories that come out of
Yeah.
it and the nicknames. It's so good.
Yeah.
But Mr. Matthew had an idea, and that idea spread like wildfire. He was sending it in the group chats. He was sending it to everybody he knows. I won't get too far ahead in the steps, but it takes that person to see that TikTok of an après ski in France to get the gears turning and to like make something truly happen. I feel like it's so easy for you to see something on TikTok or Instagram and be like, oh my God, we have to go here and send it to a friend. But this whole episode is going to tell you actually how to make that possible and do that thing, as opposed to it just living in your Instagram DM or your group chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Matthew was the one that thought of the Alps.
Yep.
He really wanted to go on a ski trip, and what better ski trip than going to Europe?
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that idea person, they're definitely the ones that are gauging the interest. So
Totally.
like Court said, Matt has 100 group chats that
Yeah.
we will note he is active in all of them. And so he did really spread that news like wildfire and got, a loose idea of, oh, hey, there's actually enough people to make this a group trip.
Yep.
Step 2, all of those interested parties will also extend this
Yes.
idea. And that sounds scary. You might be listening and be like, wait, I don't want my friend of a friend to invite their friend. Like, that's not the vibe. Well, we will have you know that we had a new friend join us. And quickly jumping ahead, the total, I guess we've mentioned this before, but the entire group was us two, our boyfriends, and our new friend, Mike.
Our new single friend, Mike.
Our new single friend, Mike. He fully joined a little couples retreat moment because it was pitched to him
as this huge group trip.
This is going to be crazy. We have a massive Airbnb. There's a big group of us.
At
We're going
least
skiing
10.
in the Alps. Nope.
Nope. Sorry, Mike. We falsely advertised.
We fully falsely advertised. But we had the best time with him. And
Yeah.
it was so I'm so beyond happy that he came.
Yeah.
And that may sound scary to those listening. Like, I wouldn't want to go on a long trip, a big trip like this with somebody I'm not close with. This is like how you get close with those people.
Totally. And we were saying the whole trip, like, thank God he was there, because although a couple's vacay is very fun, I feel like we had a holistic more fun trip because of it, because we were like, oh my God, how do we make sure that Mike doesn't feel like a fifth wheel? Like, how do we make sure he's having fun? Like, we didn't have to think that far into it. But in doing that, we were like, all right, how can we stay out and have a good time? And I feel like if it was just us four, we would have been like, all right, I'm a little tired. Let's both go into our own rooms and like watch Netflix on our computers, you know? Like, it just brought a different element of, I don't know, fun and excitement to the trip.
Yeah. And it's honestly, I'm recalling a time when I went to Mardi Gras and there was four of us, and one of the people who came was one of our friends' best friends from home. And like, I had never met her in my life. And it was kind of awesome to go on like a little weekend trip and meet somebody new for the first time.
Yeah.
It brings a different type of energy, I guess, like we were saying. But I would highly recommend having your friends that are interested invite their friends. It all comes down to the energy. I think it keeps the energy high, new, fresh, exciting.
I agree.
Because me, you, and Matt and Joe hang out all the time.
Yeah.
It would just be same shit, different location.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was good.
Yeah, it was perfect. Step 3. So once you've gotten some like soft yeses, like, all right, I'm into it, the group chat is really important. So number 3 is you need to start a group chat to keep that morale high, to make sure that we actually make this thing possible.
Yeah, the second the group chat is created, it's like
oh
wait,
shit,
it's actually happening.
this is official.
So those people who were teeter-tottering on the edge, they're going to make their decision.
Yeah.
The people who have FOMO are going to be like, oh, okay, fine, I'm actually in now.
Yeah.
This is actually happening.
Yeah, add me to the group chat.
Yes. And that way when you go out, because you're still recruiting at this process.
Of course.
So when you're out and about and you're like, hey, look, like, we have a group chat going. Like, so far there's this many of us. This is where we're thinking. Like, are you interested? And then you get added to the chat.
Exactly.
That's how it happened with the half marathon as well.
Yeah.
Issa messaged me and she was like, hey, like, there's a group chat, want me to add you? And I'm like, oh, like, I don't know. And I was like, screw it, just add me. And here I am, now I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I think group chats are powerful.
The group chats all of a sudden make you have people that are holding you accountable
Yes.
for your like little decision that you made or something you said that one time.
Yeah. So I think that's important. And then it's always fun to come up with a fun group chat name. Ours wasn't very fun. It was après ski. But you know what? I think a fun group chat name really it sets the tone,
It
the
does.
energy for the trip.
It does. I mean, it wasn't all caps, so
It was.
that was
With
bringing
maybe
some energy.
Emojis. I don't know if they had emojis too. So that was important.
So important.
Next one. This one's big. So right now it's all hypothetical.
It's a slow burn. Like
Yes.
these things are happening over a few months period of time. Like it could probably expedite the process if necessary, but like very slow moving up until step 4.
Up until step 4. And step 4 is somebody has to pull the trigger and purchase the flight. I would recommend at least one other person books the flight as well.
Yes.
So I'm picturing like a bunch of solo travelers, like a friend group, and just one of them books the flight and then nobody else does. But I actually think that's a way to guilt your friends into it. Like, guys, you said you were in. I just purchased the flight.
Yeah.
So somebody needs to be the brave one and be the first one to book the flights. And you can also propose, hey guys, I'm going to book this flight. Want me to just get those for you as well? Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, do it as well so we can all sit together. And then that's how you lock in some more people as well.
Yes. Once your flights are booked, now it's like, okay, we're definitely going. Where are we sleeping? So this is where you start to look into the Airbnbs, the hotels, and that group chat is going to come in handy because you're going to be sending links back and forth. You're going to be setting up the Excel sheet to kind of compare all of the options. You're going to do your research to see if you want to stay in the heart of town or if there's value in staying a little bit on the outskirts. And that is a very exciting step. Like,
it is.
I feel like it's easy to get into like this decision fatigue because sometimes there's a lot of options, and do we value a sauna or do we value location? But once that's booked too, that makes it all the more real, and then all the more important to start recruiting more to make sure there's bodies to fill the beds.
Yeah, so I was actually going to say take a break between once your flight is booked, you're like, okay, I know where we're going. I would give it like a couple of weeks before you actually book the Airbnb, because we booked an Airbnb. I mean, we actually did give it a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But if again, like we thought we were going to have 10 people. And while we did end up going with an Airbnb that could support it, we also chose an Airbnb that was still affordable when it was just us 5.
Yeah.
But like, let's say Mike didn't end up going and it was us 4. Like, we had already agreed, like, okay, we're actually going to just get a hotel in town if it ends up just being us 4.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of strategic and fun and keeps it open. If you're like, oh, well, let's see how many more people we can get. Maybe you find a couple Airbnbs. They're like, hey, guys, if you come, this is the sick Airbnb we can get, and it would only be this price. But then you can also get excited with the people who have already committed and be like, oh, but if it's just us 4, like I found this really cool, like more petite Airbnb, or this really cool hotel, like we can stay closer to town if it just ends up being us.
Yeah. And hack is to choose an Airbnb that has like obviously a refund policy until like a certain date. And they're pretty much all like that until like a couple weeks out.
Yeah.
Or you don't need to put, or you put 50% deposit down, but then you get it back. And we stretched out that process for so long. I feel like we were sending links to Airbnbs before we even booked the flights. Mm-hmm. And it was so important to sit on it because so many different options were showing up at different times. Like, I feel like we all looked up like the different locations, like within like a few months period. And then we ended up going with the option that was not an option literally like a week beforehand. Like, it's so important to like be on the prowl and constantly look. It's like finding an apartment. Like, you're not gonna choose the first one that you see. You really need to like do your research and just like be on top of it to make sure you get the best option.
Yeah, which is so hard because there were Airbnbs that I saw and I was like, guys, we have to book it right now. Like, it's gonna go. Like, I get into this mindset that when I see something I love, if we don't pull the trigger right now, it's gonna be taken away from us. Yeah. Do you remember that? I don't even think it was in Chamonix. I think it was in Zermatt or whatever. It had a hot tub. It had a sauna. It had like multiple stories. Our Airbnb was amazing. Yeah. But that other one was incredible. But we needed 15 people.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I also feel like the vibe of the Airbnb that you end up choosing heavily depends on where you're going and how much time you anticipate spending in the Airbnb as well. Like, if you're not going on a vacation that's revolved around an activity that's forcing you to be outside, if you're more so like visiting a city or having like a girls trip and you want to do like girls nights and cook at home and have a kitchen and have like a really long table to like host a little dinner party, like there are certain Airbnbs for certain reasons. So you should also be considering that. And at the end of the day, though, I do feel like splurging on an Airbnb with a group of friends is so worth it because when you're on a trip that's go, 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 it's so important to be comfortable and like have your own space. Like, we ended up getting an Airbnb that literally could have fit at least like 4 more people comfortably.
Yeah, we had 2 more full bedrooms.
But at the end of the day, we were so happy with our decision because Ashley and Joe had a wing and had their own bathroom. Matt and I had a different wing. Mike had his whole floor. Like, we didn't have to wait for a shower. We didn't have to wait for a toilet. And like when you're spending so much time with people on a group trip, it's so nice to have your like own oasis when you go home.
Yeah, especially because we were so go, go, go. Imagine if we just had 1 bathroom and 5 of us had to shower.
No.
Like, I would have been in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I would have been very annoyed.
No, literally.
So, like, I'm also envisioning, sorry, last thing I'll say. If we were to do, like, a girls' trip to Florida, I would want a really nice Airbnb. Because I could see us, like, dancing around the kitchen. Yes. And, like, that's important for the vibe.
Yeah.
But in, like, a little town like Chamonix, I think if anyone's interested, I would definitely recommend staying downtown.
Yeah. We were a little bit too much on the outskirts.
Yeah, which we'll get into.
But then at the same time, we weren't because of the bus situation. So, like, things happen. But I would probably say my most favorite feature of the Airbnb was the foosball table.
Oh my God, such a hit.
Right?
Such an unexpected hit.
Yeah. Like, like, that's what brought us all together.
So funny. So funny with the foosball.
Yeah.
Next tip.
Number 6.
This is a exciting one.
Yeah. We're getting everyone excited about the trip. We're creating Pinterest boards if you want to like match the same fashion energy as your friends that you're going with. We are sending a bunch of links in our group chat. We're creating a shared note so people can start adding to it, like all the restaurants that they've seen, all of the activities, like tourist attractions, whatever, things that they might want to do. We're putting that all in one place.
I found that to be the most helpful. We created a shared notes, and Joe and I went through every single ski mountain and read up on the research and was like, okay, this one's more of the family mountain. This one is the most popular, but it's for more like experts only. This one is closest to us, and we should definitely go here. And I found that to be super helpful, because if we just went in and was like, oh, there's 6 peaks to choose from, we'll figure it out when we get there. Like, that would stress me out.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have a very loose itinerary.
Yeah.
And then also everybody can see all of the recs you have.
Yeah.
So we were on TikTok, and every time I would see a restaurant, I would just go and add it to the list.
Yep.
Highly, highly I don't think people use shared notes apps enough.
Yeah.
They're an underrated tool.
Yeah. And this is a very crucial step before you make your itinerary, because this is a part of the research process.
Yes.
It's not like you're putting down just the things that you want to do. It's putting out all the options so that everyone in the group chat is on the same page about what's available, and then they can make the best decisions for themselves, like what they're excited about. Or you can take a vote in the group chat, like what restaurant looks better, this or this, so that it really feels like a collaborative effort in the planning process.
Yes. And then step 7, another favorite. Make a vacation wardrobe purchase. You guys know what ours was.
The damn fur coats.
The damn fur coats.
Guys, that was a commitment, a sacrifice. We went through war to bring these things across the world.
It was a lot. If you've seen the videos, you'll see Matt stuffing our fur coats into the overhead compartment on the airplane.
God bless.
People were laughing. They were giggling, like, as we were causing a scene.
Yeah.
Exactly what we intended to do in the airport.
Yeah.
And then we will also have you know it was 40 degrees in the town of Chamonix.
Way too warm for fur coats.
Much too warm.
It started in the Boston airport. We caused a scene there. Like, us, like the fur coats alone cause a scene, but 2 of them together causes a whole other shebang.
A good kind of scene.
Oh, a great... the amount of compliments.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's like, it's giving mob wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny.
People were like screaming at us, like catcalling us for our coats. So that was elite. And the best part about it too was like we were matching each other's energy as well. Like, if you had gotten that fur coat and I didn't go with you that day, like I would have felt left out, and you probably would have felt a little bit too extra in the wardrobe choice. Yeah. So we brought them. We wore them every possible chance that we could get to get our money's worth.
We got our use out of them. In Milan, it was also like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Bless Courtney, bless your soul for forcing me to put it on. But
I know.
She was like, Ashley, we need some pictures in this damn fur coat. Like, we literally bought these coats for this trip and we don't have a picture. And I was like, oh my God, I really don't want to. But we did it nonetheless. And we went downstairs, had a photo shoot. Best
Amazing.
Photos we've ever taken.
Actually.
And then the fur coats went right back into the room.
Yep.
But again, it was the energy. We made some old woman giggle.
Yeah, exactly.
She was laughing. She's like, oh,
exactly.
Look at those girls. Like, I was like, yes.
Yeah. I do have a love-hate relationship with mine, though.
Right. Well, you had a little mishap.
For all of the fun, excitement, energy that it brought, I also never want to see mine again. Mm-hmm. Guys, mine ripped.
Yeah.
Because what?
I don't even know how that happened.
I think it might have gotten caught on something in like an overhead bin, or like, I don't know.
Just, like,
my sleeve was dangling.
Yeah.
My sleeve was dangling. But that's okay. We can get it. Glamour Furs will certainly fix that up for me.
Yes.
I'm just not in a rush to ever wear it again. So TBD till next season.
Yes.
But overall, so happy we made the purchase. Like, very, very satisfied. Last step, creating a countdown.
Yes.
Like, I feel like leading up to this trip, we were talking about it so much, but it also seemed to have crept up on us. We were like, holy shit, 1 week out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, we're leaving tomorrow. It like even when we were in the airport, it like didn't feel real that it was happening. But the countdown is really important to get everybody even more excited for the trip and make sure everyone's packed and has all the right things and we're all on the same page and we're ready to go.
Yeah, I agree. That's like the best part because all the hard work's done.
Totally.
And the best part about like booking all these things in advance is that then the trip is free when you go. And it's like, girl mathing is doing its job.
Truly.
And you just feel great.
Truly.
So let the countdown begin.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are basic steps, but also there's a reason why your trip is not out of the group chat. So re-listen, take some notes, send this episode to your friends as a sign to book the trip. And now part 2 of this episode.
How to adult vacay.
Yes. And this is important as we are young adults doing both, living a balanced life. Adult vacaying is different.
Very different.
What would you call it? Adolescent vacaying?
Yeah, like this is the first trip where we weren't revolved around like, I don't know, partying, getting drunk, like staying out at a club till like 2 a.m, you know?
Well, we did do that.
Just once though. We did both this trip.
We did do both.
I'm so proud of our performance. Like we were able to hang. We didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
We had such a great mix of experiences. Like I don't think we held back on anything.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of the perfect optimized adult vacay.
Optimized adult vacay. We're switching the title of this podcast to Optimize Your Life.
Guys, all of our episodes that have the word optimize in the title are our best performing episodes.
Yep.
So let's optimize your next
optimize your adult vacay. Number 1.
So adult vacays, surprise, surprise, girlies, you're paying for that trip yourself. Even if you're going with a partner, when you're financially responsible. And because of that, it's really important that you spend your money on things that you actually want to do. And you're living, I think in group trips, it could be easy for you to like succumb to what the group wants to do and flow with what's already happening.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You really have to do what you're excited about, where you want to spend your money, and establish at the beginning of the trip that like everyone should do what they want to do and there's no pressure for you to do something because the rest of the group is doing it.
Yeah. And I think this is actually a big difference because when I was in college and I think my last international trip for spring break, we went to Spain. There was a group of like 6 or 7 of us. We all did every single thing together.
Yeah.
Somebody made the itinerary and everybody was doing everything. It would be very questionable if you were like, oh, I'm not interested. I'm actually going to go do this instead.
Yeah.
But the purpose of an adult vacation is we are all independent human beings.
Yep.
We're paying for this trip, so therefore we're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
So establish that at the beginning. Say, hey, you're going to do you. I'm going to do me. Let's make this trip the best.
Yeah.
So that we all leave happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can give examples for this.
Yeah. So Matt and I, we love a good Michelin star restaurant, but only Michelin star restaurants in foreign countries because it's so much more affordable to experience those things. And so that's like a little couple thing that we found in our previous international vacays. And Matt threw it out into a group chat. He originally made a reservation on a whim for all 5 of us. And we sent it in the group chat, and not everyone cared to do it. Not everyone cared to spend their money on that. And so we decided to have our own little date night, and it was so fun. We're so happy we did it. Meanwhile, Ashley, Joe, and Mike had like the best little dinner at an Asian fusion restaurant that they got recommended to from their taxi driver. And we each had our little, I think it was Sunday night to ourselves, did our own thing. Matt and I celebrated our 2-year anniversary. We did what we wanted to do. They did what they wanted to do. And then we regrouped at the end of the night to travel back to our Airbnb together. And it was like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it was like so easy, so nice. Like didn't have to think twice about it.
No.
Everybody got to do what they wanted to do. And then we all get to go home together.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It was so easy.
Yeah. And then another example was there was a night the boys were just boying and they were just having a bonding moment. Courtney and I were sitting on the couch and we were like, let's just go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason we need to stay up with the team.
No.
Like, let's let them be tired tomorrow. We're going to go get our beauty rest.
Yeah.
And I went in, I read a little bit on my Kindle, and then I fell asleep like a baby.
Yeah. And they stayed up till 2:30 in the morning
Exactly.
talking about politics.
Terrible.
No.
No, thank you. But once again, going back to when you're on a trip, let's say with all the girls back in college or something, in the younger years, I would actually feel the pressure. I wouldn't want to miss out on
FOMO.
the girl chats and the whatever it is. But it's like, if you're tired, go to bed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't have to do everything with everybody.
I just feel like as you get older, you just care a lot less, and you need to prioritize your sleep.
And it's better like that.
It's so much better. It truly is.
Number 2, do your research and have a plan. And this is
Ashley's
probably my favorite. I think like almost every night leading up to this trip, Joe and I were like, okay, time to do our research. And we would like research where to go, what to do. I think having a plan and like knowing the area, I'm not going to lie, this was probably the first time I've actually done that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, I was going to Miami or wherever, somewhere where you don't need that. But in a foreign country, when you want to get I don't know the next time I'll ever be in Chamonix.
Yeah.
I want to know where I am in the town. I want to know which mountains we're skiing, where they are on the map. Like, it's nice to be educated.
Yep.
And I can recommend places. I have a lay of the land.
Yeah.
And then also, as soon as we got there, I was like, I understand where we are, what to do. I can prioritize what I want to see when I'm there.
Yeah. And do you also feel like, I think in previous trips, like you've taken a back seat because someone else was the idea person and was leading the trip.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's important to identify like your role too.
Yes.
So for example, in this trip, I took a little bit of a back seat because like, your girl doesn't know how to ski. Like, she doesn't know what conditions are important. Like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
And so I think, yes, it's important to do your research. And I feel like it's even more important when you're doing an adult vacay. Like in the past, it's very easy to just like, all right, this person's planning the trip, I'm just going to show up.
Yeah.
And even though I took a back seat, like I still felt like I understood what was going on. And it helps you choose the best things when you're there for you.
Yeah. I think the research is really important. But I also like what you said about the rules, because if all 5 of us were like, okay, doing the research, I think we should do this, I think we should do this, it would have been
too many
probably
cooks.
like butting heads with all of the opinions.
Yeah.
So it is kind of nice when one or two people like take the charge and is like, hey, here's the loose itinerary, like what do you guys think about it?
Exactly.
And then you guys can weigh in your opinions. And I thought that worked out really, really well.
I agree. It was perfect.
Yeah. Joe got a gold star for this trip. The man did everything. He booked the trains, the transfers. He had all the tickets on his phone. The ski shop was booked. Like everything to a T.
Yeah. The private
Fell in love
shuttle
with him
from
all
the
over.
airport.
Private shuttle from the airport.
He thought of
Huge.
everything.
He did.
He did. He was amazing.
He really was. Oh, one more note on that is I think it makes your trip more memorable. Like I kind of mentioned this, like when you have conversations with other people about it, you can say, oh, like here's a fact about this and we went here and this is why we did that. But I think like I remember Chamonix and I'm going to remember it. I know the mountains. I am confident in my recommendations.
Yeah.
When I was abroad and I would travel to I couldn't even tell you what the city looked like. I couldn't tell you where we stayed in the city, what we did there. It was all just like over my head because I was just drunk running around the city.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate my travel now that I'm adult vacaying.
Yeah. No, it was so funny, guys. Ashley studied abroad in Milan. So I was like, Ashley, like, what are your favorite restaurants? What do you want to do? Like, you're going to lead that portion because you know the city better than any of us. And she's like, Courtney, I literally couldn't tell you. Like, the vibe wasn't like make the most use of the city at that time in my life because I was going to school and then we were traveling like for most of the time there. So like, it was all a blur.
I only spent 2 weekends in Milan.
Yeah,
the rest I was going to class. And then she's like, what? There has to be like a restaurant. And I was like, I was a broke college student.
Yeah.
Like we went to free aperitivo where you just buy one drink and then you eat some meat and cheese.
I'm dead.
Yeah. But Milan was cool because I got to go back to like the areas.
Yes.
But aside from the areas and like the general lay of the land there, I couldn't give you one good recommendation for a restaurant.
Yeah. So guys, it's so important to travel when you're adults. I feel like it's
Yes.
almost, you know how like when you're a kid, you don't appreciate what you're experiencing because like you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Then you're a college student and your priorities are just different when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Like you're like having the best time, getting
that's how it
drunk,
should
making
be.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's just a different era of traveling that I think is honestly beautiful and my favorite thus far.
Same. This is going to be the trips that we tell our kids about.
Yes.
And I'm going to look at my little baby one day and be like, see these pictures? This is me and Auntie Court in our fur coats when we went to Chamonix. Like, that is actually going to be a conversation I have.
We've vocalized it leading up to the trip and all trip long. Like, guys, we're creating lifelong memories.
Yeah, but we really, really
it's
are.
so true.
Okay, next one. Number 3. And I actually think we did a very good job with this.
Yeah, we did.
Smart packing and dressing for comfort. As an adult, comfort's important. Yes, we want to look good while doing it, but I'm definitely going to wear the comfy shoes instead of the uncomfortable heels if we're going to be walking around the city.
Yeah.
6 years ago, if you asked me which one I'm going to wear, I'm going to pick the one that looks the cutest.
Mm-hmm.
But we are adults. We are making smart decisions.
Yeah. And we're also not overpacking. Like, that is such a clutch. You can always just say, oh, I'm such an overpacker.
Yeah.
And
cut it.
Yeah. No, none of that. Cut the fat. Because at the end of the day, like, why do you want to lug around so much extra stuff that you're never going to wear? And I can confidently say that even when you realistically pack, you don't end up wearing everything that you bring.
Which is crazy because I only packed one outfit for every occasion.
Yep.
But the unforeseeable happens. The Airbnb's not ready, so therefore you have to go in your airport clothes that you've been traveling 24 hours in.
Yeah. And I think this was the first trip where I literally like planned outfit for each occasion and like took photos so I remembered. And I think it's a game changer. Like,
it is.
It even helps you expedite like getting ready when you're on the trip. Like, it just allows you to not have as much decision fatigue and gets you ready to go. So I think that's a hack I'm going to be carrying with me into future vacays.
Yeah.
It also gets you excited for the trip.
Mm-hmm. It's so stressful to like, I find it stressful to pack and like choose outfits and figure out and you want to feel confident when you're on vacation. You want to love your outfit. You want to feel good. Like, everything about your vacation should be amazing, including the outfits you wear. Because I think that's a big part of it. So not having to think about it when you're over there, beautiful.
So nice.
I pretend like my personal stylist packed it because that's my goal one day, is to have a personal stylist.
Truly. Truly a dream.
Okay, next one. The airport. We have a couple little tips and tricks for adult vacating in the airport. First one is
Air tags.
Air tags. Joe and I literally went to Best Buy for this reason, to buy air tags for our luggage. And we did this because my friend Gab traveled to Greece and they lost her luggage.
Stop.
Because she had an air tag in it, she was calling them being like, hey, you guys lost my luggage. They're like, oh, like, we don't know where it is. She's like, I have an air tag. It's literally in your airport. I can see it. She had to hop on a flight, fly to the other like Greek island wherever the airport was.
Stop it.
Went through and was able to find her luggage because she put an air tag in it. If she didn't do that, it would have been gone.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That is crazy. She had to buy a flight to retrieve her luggage?
Yes. Yep. At the beginning of her trip.
No.
And Greece, talk about the outfits. If there's any trip that you need your luggage for, it's Greece.
Yeah.
Oh so, yeah, ever since then, I'm like, I will never check luggage without an air tag.
Yeah.
And our friend Mike lost his luggage.
That stinks. I still feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
He ended up flying. He didn't end up coming to Milan with us, and he went to Geneva. He like spent a night there. Then he flew back on his own, and they somehow lost his luggage because I think what happened, he had a layover and one of his flights got canceled. Mm-hmm. And he's like, guys, that was like my whole closet. Like, you know, men, like they literally wear the same things over and over again. And when they go on a trip, they just pack everything they already wear. It's not like girls where they buy new things and they're so excited. Like, that was that man's whole closet.
I would cry. I would cry for days.
I know. Me too. Overall, we somehow did not have a travel hiccup once. Like, guys, when we say that we did not like have a delayed transfer, we did not have a delay, like we didn't miss a train. Like, I've never been to Europe where there hasn't been one little hiccup that ends up turning into a funny story. Like, it ended up working out better for us. Like, we ended up getting an earlier train. We ended up getting to the city earlier. Like, it was just so perfect.
I was convinced something was going to happen. So, like, I was mentally prepared for shit to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And it just didn't. Every time we traveled successfully and, like, completed one leg, I was like, all right, guys, like, we're doing really well.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was good. Some other airport-related hacks: schedule your taxis, private cars, etc. I feel like if you're staying at a hotel, work with the concierge to make sure that there's a taxi picking you up at the right time so you're not struggling to get an Uber. Look into like what the buses look like and what the public transportation is so that you feel like ready to go. And like, I don't know, sometimes it's just better to splurge on like a private ride. It ends up being probably the same price, if not maybe a little bit more expensive. And then you get a direct transfer to exactly where you need to go. You're in somewhere clean. You'll get free waters. Like, everyone can fit comfortably. And it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. And I think it appears to be more expensive when you're like, oh, we're going to book a private car to bring us from the airport to wherever. And it's like, okay, but if you're in a foreign country, they know you're a tourist. You're probably getting ripped off if you just try to find a taxi.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that was the best decision we ever made.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend. That's something I will always do moving forward.
Yep.
Another tip for travel is compression socks. So I had to get these after my surgery a year ago because I was taking a flight like 2 weeks after, and it prevents like blood clots. But so I wore my compression socks on the way there, and I was feeling great, feeling amazing. On the way home, I forgot to take them out of my bag. Guys, my feet were so swollen, they couldn't fit into my loafers.
No.
They could not fit. Like, that was a wake-up call to me to be like, wait, these actually work? And your blood will actually pool in your feet. Because you're sitting there for how long?
Yeah, so long.
Like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So people might make fun of you, but I don't know. Did you grow up having like airport socks? My mom would always pack us like fuzzy socks.
Yep.
And we'd change into like our fuzzy socks. So your compression socks can be your fuzzy socks.
Yeah. Grandma Ash with their compression socks.
I swear by them.
Own.
After that experience, I will never go back.
I'm dead. And then last airport hack. This is crazy. Like, you're definitely going to want to write this down. If you're flying into the Boston Logan Airport, and I can only talk about Logan because I've only experienced it there, but it's likely at other airports too. There's an app that you can download on your phone upon entering back into the country. It's called Mobile Passport Control. And you basically download it, create a profile, take a photo, import your passport details. And that allows you to enter a different line through customs. So you don't need to wait. And like, even if you have TSA or global entry, you have a separate line for MPC. And you literally are in and out in like less than 30 seconds. And you're literally waving and laughing at all the people that got off the same plane as you that are waiting in the customs line to get through.
And just to put things into perspective on how easy this app is, Matt told us to download it as soon as we landed. I was able to upload my information within 30 seconds. So that by the time we got off the plane, I was good to go.
Yeah.
And Joe did it even later because he was like, I don't need an app. I'm like, oh my God, you actually sound like a grandpa right now.
Yeah, right?
He downloaded it when he went to the bathroom, came out. I had to do it for him, like in front of the lady. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Through the line. I was mind blown.
Mind blown.
If there's one thing you take away, it's this.
Yeah.
You're in a line that's next to global entry.
Yeah.
So, like, you are literally right next to global entry.
Yeah.
And it's free.
It's free. Yeah. Global entry you have to pay for. You have to get through your credit card. I don't know why it's a thing. I don't know why.
I don't know how.
They don't advertise it. I'm like,
make sense.
No, but I think they just have so much data on us already. And like,
Yeah.
they have facial recognition that it's safe, but they don't advertise it And I think it's smart of them to not advertise it. It's like, if you know, you know.
So only listeners of this episode.
You're welcome.
Don't tell anybody else. It's like our secret.
Yeah.
But we had to share with you.
You're welcome. So next, we've briefly mentioned this, but the Airbnb is so crucial, or the hotel, or whatever you choose. You want to live in comfort. We're not in college where we're sharing a room or a bed with multiple people just because you want to get the lowest price possible. Like, there are enough options that you can get a comfortable living situation at a price point that you're willing to pay for when you're traveling, especially in Europe and other countries where things are a bit cheaper. And it's worth the damn price tag.
100%. If you tell me you are traveling and you got an Airbnb and you're sleeping on a couch, I will kill you. But there's people that do that.
And are fine
my
with
friend
that.
group from home included. People will literally like sleep on the couches, and they're paying the same price in the Airbnb as like somebody who's getting the bed. And it's just like, we are all adults. We should all feel comfortable and like we are getting a nice living situation.
Yeah.
Accommodation. Treat yourself. It's worth the extra $100, $200 on a big trip. It will drastically improve your vacation.
Yep.
Why don't you read this one?
Next one is definitely catered to me. Being prepared for oopsies. I know we said that we didn't have any travel hiccups, but there's always going to be something. There's going to be your girl getting blisters that are literally so deep and raw that she can't feel her feet.
How are they, by the way?
You want to see?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you anyway, just by your answer. So good.
Oh.
They healed so quick.
Wow.
They healed so quick.
That's
But
probably going to be like a scar.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to have to apply SPF 100 on this for the rest of my life. But that's okay. I mean, like,
Wow.
if
That's impressive.
It's so impressive, right?
Yeah,
well,
I'm so happy.
Well, Milan, they felt good that I could walk.
Yeah.
To fill you in very, very briefly, I made the rookie mistake of trying a new pair of socks that are very highly recommended for ski socks, paired with an uncomfortable ski boot. And one thing for beginner skiers to know is that ski boots are not supposed to be comfortable. Like, they're never going to feel like a regular pair of shoe. But I'm so new to skiing that I don't know how uncomfortable it should be. So when I'm at the rental place and I'm trying on boots, I tried on 3 boots. I was being the most difficult of everyone there. And I ended up picking the boot that felt the best on my foot at that time. Come to be, it was literally terrible. It caused these huge blisters on my feet. And ultimately ended up causing me having a limp and me having to
an actual limp.
No, like I was trailing behind like a snail like for majority of the trip, which was not ideal, but if there had to be some sort of accident, it was best case scenario.
And better that you were able to trail behind like a snail than not trail at all.
Of course. Where was I going with that story? Oh, oopsies. So yeah, there's always going to be an oopsie. Expect the oopsie. Hope it's not yourself personally, but unfortunately for me, it's always me. But in that case scenario, I had a little portable CVS in my bag. So before I could get the blister Band-Aids, I had Band-Aids that I brought. I have green supplements. I have Tums. If you're having a little constipation problem while you're traveling, don't worry, girl. I got you. Like, I have all the things. I have NyQuil. I have DayQuil. And it's channeling like mom with that has like their whole lives in their person that are ready for every situation.
Yeah.
And it changes your trip because there's going to be an oopsie. And rather than having to figure out where the local pharmacy is and figuring out how you can get X, Y, and Z, you kind of have one of everything to hold you over until you can get what you actually need.
Yes. I love that. Similar, but different. I put together like a little travel, not an oopsie kit, but more of just like a convenience tip.
Yeah.
And I had like Listerine things for your nasty breath after traveling for 24 hours. And I had a Tide to Go stick. I had extra hair elastics. I had delicious smelling
perfume.
No.
Oh, hand sanitizer.
Thank you. Hand sanitizer. I don't know, it made me happy. It made me feel like I had my shit together.
Yep.
So highly recommend.
Yeah. And Ashley's hack of all that carries with her every single day is have it in a little portable bag that you can put into any other bag that you're using while you're on the trip.
Yes. Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7 is time to unplug. And we were Kindle queens on this trip.
We were.
I think for the first time ever, I started and finished a book on vacation. And on top of all the vacations, it was the most go-go vacation I've ever had.
Truly.
But that's because I was reading on the plane, and I packed my laptop. I did not pull my laptop out once for our recording attempt, which is unheard of for me on a plane. Highly, highly recommend getting your Kindle, reading. I felt like main character energy. I was like actually comfy in the back of the freaking plane
reading
on a very long flight. But I don't know, they gave you like a little blanket. I had my Kindle. I was just making the most of a long travel day.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Yeah. And I strategically didn't bring my iPad because everyone knows I'm an iPad kid.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the trip, I was like, guys, I didn't bring my iPad. And everyone was like, Court, this is the one time that you should be bringing your iPad. But no, like I strategically wanted to unplug and I wanted to use my technology as minimal as possible because I'm literally glued to technology all day long for work. And then I have my iPad that my planner's on and all the things. Like I brought my tangible planner, I brought a little journal, and I brought my Kindle, and it was the best decision. Best decision.
I love it. Okay, number 8. It's okay to split the group up. And I think this kind of goes back to our first tip of you have to do you on vacation and make the choices that are best for you. You don't have to say yes to everything. But obviously going on a ski trip to the Alps, some of us are advanced skiers and some of us learned to ski last month. It's not realistic to think we're going to be skiing together the entire time.
Yeah, it ended up being perfect. Like I went into the trip with no expectation to like ski with the rest of the group the whole time. And I made sure that I didn't feel like I was by myself. Like I booked a lesson the first day to get my lay of the mountain and the skiing conditions that I have never experienced before. And then we met up when we could meet up and we skied some blue trails together. But at the end of it, like I was very happy to stick to my little paths and I was happy to meet with you guys whenever it felt right. But yeah, I didn't want to take away from your vacation. And then also if I tried to hang with the cool kids, I would have hated my experience. So like we both had the best experiences because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then one thing we wanted to do but didn't end up doing, it's called Valet Blanche. Who knows if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it's like a 20-something kilometer off-piste skiing, and you're essentially skiing off-trail on a glacier. And you need a guide, and you go up, you take this massive like cable car up, you have to hike down, and then you ski, and it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Something that obviously a beginner skier wouldn't be able to do, but also a once-in-a-lifetime like opportunity.
Yeah.
We didn't end up doing it because it was overcast and it needs to be like perfect weather because of avalanches and all the things. But Court was so okay with us doing that and like gave us the green light and was like, guys, it's your vacation too. Like you have to do this like once in a lifetime opportunity. So like Matt and I one night like went into town. We were running around the town trying to find a guide, and the weather did not
It didn't work in your favor.
It did not work in our favor. So we didn't end up doing it, but knowing that, you know, if it did work out and we had the option, like it was a no-brainer, which was also really cool.
Yeah.
And I think an important piece of adult vacationing. I guess that more goes with the first point.
Yeah. But important to recognize. This next one I think is really important because it set the tone for our entire trip, which was upon arrival, squad up and don't complain about travel exhaustion.
Yeah.
The phrase jet lag did not come out of a singular person's mouth.
Nope.
No one was complaining that we were tired. It was more of the energy of, guys, we're in Europe. I cannot believe we're in Europe. And although we got 3 to 4 hours of sleep and it could have been so easy to stay in that first night, we hunkered down and we went out and we went to a club, the last place that Ashley wanted to be that night. And we probably had one of the best nights there.
Yes.
because of it.
Yeah, so while we are adult vacationing, that first night you need to channel your adolescent vacationing.
Absolutely.
You need to go balls to the wall. You need to go crazy. You need to bring the energy, and I think it's important. But we did so in a way that Courtney and I had a couple glasses of champagne,
Yep.
called it a night. When the boys were in the bathroom at 2 a.m., we said, Joe, get the check, we're leaving.
Yep.
Whereas if it was up to them, they would have stayed all night and overdid it.
Yep.
So I think setting the boundaries worked in our favor.
100%. 100%.
Because you can do both.
You can do both.
Yes.
That's the whole point of this episode. You have to do both on vacation.
Yes.
Especially as an adult.
Absolutely. Number 10 is leaving room for spontaneity. And I think, so when we said in the beginning, we have like a loose travel itinerary. Emphasis on the loose. Like, here's generally what we want to do. On that itinerary, we also had a bullet point that was like, we have the option to ski Italy. We get there via cable car.
Yep.
So like that was, because we did our research, we knew it was an option. And then having a loose itinerary, meaning we're not set on going to any one mountain, allowed us to have the best day ever.
Yeah. And it also allowed us to talk with other tourists and locals while we were on the trip to be like, hey, what do you think of these mountains? Like, what have you experienced? What would you recommend? So that we were able to, like, once again, make the most educated decision of all the options that we initially planned out for ourselves. So on our second day of skiing, we had already skied. I skied probably one of the better mountains in Chamonix. You skied 2 mountains. And so we had, all right, we can go to this other French mountain, or we can try to ski Italy. The day itself was kind of warm. It was kind of overcast. There was no snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right. And the rest of the group was waiting for me to get my little blister Band-Aids and new rental boots. And they were just casually staring at Italy from across the way. So
yeah, we were staring at the cable car that took you
to
like,
Italy.
Up. Yeah. The one that we had researched. So I was like, why would we go across town? Because the mountain was on the other side of Chamonix. I was like, let me just see if that really is the cable car that like takes you up. So I went over and I was like, hi, I want to ski Italy. Is this the cable car? And she was like, oh, there's actually a tunnel. You can go over to the buses. There's a bus that will take you over. You just go right through the tunnel and you're on the other side, which was great news because it only takes 30 minutes, whereas the cable car took a full hour.
Damn.
So the group comes together. We head over to the buses anyways because that's where we were going to go to ski the other Chamonix mountain. And all of a sudden we look across the street and we're like, wait, that's the Italian bus. There's like an Italian flag and we're like, that's the bus she was talking about. So we all looked at each other. We were being so indecisive. We're like, Le Tour, Italy.
Yeah.
Somebody choose.
No, well, the Le Tour bus kind of like drove by us. We had the opportunity.
It was coming.
No, we had the opportunity to get on it, and all of us just looked at each other and didn't get on it. We're like, all right, let's go to Italy.
Why would you do like a mountain or like Italy? When you fact checked it all, you're like, okay, we know we can get there.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's ski Italy. I mainly wanted to do it in that moment just to say we skied Italy while we were there. I was like, that's going to be sick. Like,
yeah, we would have regretted it so hard if we never went.
Yeah. So it just got better and better. We got a recommendation to take a taxi. And so we had our own private shuttle. We get it. We drive through. And at this point, we're just hyped to go to Italy.
Yeah.
We're like, this is sick, guys. Like, I'm really happy. And we're already talking about how great it is to be spontaneous.
Yeah. And we're playing the Après Chamonix Spotify playlist that we all contributed to. That's another major point in like prepping for the trip, like get people excited and get the energy right. And then, guys, this tunnel was pretty much the entire 30-minute drive.
I think it's a little over 8 kilometers.
Yeah, not that I know what that is in miles, but very long. So it's like we're in a dark tunnel. We're driving essentially through to the other side of the mountain. And all of a sudden we get a glimpse of the end. And it just looks like this
light at the end of the tunnel.
The light at the end of the tunnel. And we get out of this tunnel and, guys, we were in a forking snow globe. Like,
it was dumping snow,
like 2 feet of snow.
Maybe, I think more, honestly. It was so much snow.
It was like a blizzard I've never even seen before. Like living on the East Coast, like I have never seen an experience like that. And the second we drive through, we're like, hold up, how are we 30 minutes away? And
it didn't make sense.
It didn't make any, well, it does now, knowing how tall the mountain is and how it blocks certain conditions. But I guess when what conditions are not so great in France, they're amazing in Italy, and vice versa, depending on which way the wind is blowing. And luckily for us that day, it was the most perfect powder conditions. And it was a Monday, so no one was on the mountain. We literally had a mountain to ourselves. We would ski trails, or we'd be up on lifts, and we would not see a singular soul on the entire mountain of Courmayeur.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the energy that whole day, like every run, every chairlift, every time I had the opportunity to speak to anybody, I was like, this is amazing. Like I had tears in my eyes freaking going down the trails, because one of my life goals was to always ski powder. And I always thought it would be like out west or something. I had checked the forecast when we were going to Chamonix, and like I had already come to the terms with that. We weren't getting fresh snow, so I wasn't going to ski powder, and I was totally okay with that. So when this happened, like so unexpectedly, on like a last minute decision, on a whim, that was probably my favorite day of the entire trip.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And it wouldn't have happened if we had like such a regimented itinerary.
Yeah.
And if Courtney didn't get her blisters.
I know. The blisters happened for a reason.
They really did.
Next this is my first vacation that revolved around an outdoor activity, and what a treat, honestly. I think all of my prior vacations have either been tropical, sitting on a beach, or they're in a city where you're just eating and drinking the whole time. And as amazing as both of those options are, it was so nice to be outside, have an activity, and we had the eating, we had the drinking, we had the exploring of a city, but all day long we were literally outdoors enjoying the wilderness and creating our own little day.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And fun fact, Courtney and I didn't get drunk once.
Yeah.
I could have never said that on any of my non-adult vacations.
Yeah.
So, and it was a great feeling.
Guys, and the hack was we were drinking champagne in France. So
high quality.
Very high quality. And then we got the little buzz that we needed in the moment. And then we didn't have any hangovers to slow us down.
Exactly.
It was perfect. And for our 75th episode, we are giving you the longest episode You Can Do Both has ever recorded.
Guys, the camera just died. We've never used a full battery.
Yeah.
In a single episode.
We're overcompensating for how long we're making you wait for this episode.
Yes. So this is all for you guys.
But it's so good. I hope you guys are finding this as amazing as we are recording.
Yes.
Okay. We're so close though. And the final adult vacay 101 hack is a little app we call Splitwise.
Yes.
Have you ever used it before this trip?
I have, actually. I was going back and I used it on Mardi Gras.
Okay.
That was the only time. I thought it was good. It got a little confusing towards the end, I feel, because like you have to wait for everybody to upload their expenses. But I think if we actually used it during the trip,
yes,
and like every time somebody puts their card down, they just like put it in.
Yeah.
Or like if you wanted to keep track of all of the cash payments, you could be like, oh, just put like 10 euros down for this. Like if you wanted to go that granular, I think we kind of just said anything in cash was whatever. But it is a great way to like split up everything. And I liked how you could see like how much you actually spent. Yeah. Because usually when I go on vacation, I'm like, whoop, I have no idea how much I spent. Things were in cash, things were not. I Venmo'd people, but I never take the time to like add it all up.
Yeah.
It's a great way to track your budgeting.
Yeah.
And see how much you holistically spent on the entire vacation.
Exactly. And so if you guys don't know what it is, you probably got the gist from what Ashley just said, but you basically create a group, you add all your friends to it that you are splitting costs with, and then you individually add everything you paid for, and it's so user-friendly. You click like who paid that amount, who owes that amount. You can click and choose, like multi-select whoever you're supposed to be splitting it with, and then it just makes it so evident what you spent and what you owe. And then a function of it that I think is cool is like rather than having to pay each person on the trip some kind of set amount, like I owe Ashley $12 and Joe $300 and whatever, you can like split it into the least amount of transactions possible so that everyone gets paid what they're supposed to, but maybe you only have to make like one Venmo payment to one person at the end of it. So it just simplifies things a lot and makes sure that you're paying for the things that you did and no one else is paying for you, you know?
Yeah. And with that concludes episode 75. Our season finale of season 3 has come to a close. It's been a great season.
That has.
Excited for season 4.
Me
2024,
too.
Season 4. Courtney loves her even numbers.
I do.
So it's going to be a good one. We'll definitely miss you guys. But in the meantime, please keep up with us on Insta. Send this episode to a friend that you want to get the trip out of the group chat with. Let us know what you want to hear in season 4, what you want more of, what you want less of.
And plan your damn trip.
Yeah.
Get it out of the group chat. Send us what you're doing. And remember to subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us on Spotify, wherever you listen to it. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a review. Let us know what you want to hear. And season 4, just around the corner.
See you in season 4.
Illy.